Hello, the rain is falling down. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I'm gonna end up using this part because it is kind of rainy. Actually, okay, wait, hold on one sec. I'm gonna listen back and I'm gonna see how it's sounding. If it's sounding like I'm in a tunnel or some sort of a tropical storm, then I might refrain from using this time to record. So give me 1 second, okay? Hold up. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so it wasn't too bad. It was hard to tell if what I was hearing was the rain reflecting in the audio or it was just the rain that I'm hearing because it's currently still raining. But we're going to go with it. Times are tough. It's busy. How are you all doing? I feel like I haven't done this in forever. I feel like I kind of gave up, but I didn't. We just had a 2-part tell-all special interview. I don't know if any of you, I hope all of you listened. Again, I know that there's not really an all in you because we have about 3 listeners. I think randomly one week we got like 16 and I was like, what? Am I famous? Like I kept checking my email to see if maybe someone was going to reach out. But don't worry, no one did yet. You won't have to worry about me going mainstream, at least for this week. But yeah, I miss talking. I want to send a quick shout out, a quick thank you again to Kata for coming, gracing us with her presence. That was really fun. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, go back to the last 2 episodes. I believe that would be episode number 22 and episode 23. It was very fun. So that would mean, in order of succession, we would be on episode number 24, which is 1 episode away from 25, which means that in 1 episode, if you count years as episode numbers, the podcast can rent a car. Actually, isn't that fun? The podcast has surpassed me in number. I am not 24. So that's fun. I think, you always want better for your kids than you have, so I'm taking that mentality with it. But yeah, I hope everyone's having a good week. I have some things, because it's been so long. Like, I'll be completely honest with you. Most of the time, I turn on this little machine thingy called my phone, go into the voice notes app and just kind of talk. But this time, because I felt like it's been a while since I've recorded, there were some things that I would think. Oh, I missed a key important part to my process. I don't really plan anything. I don't think like, I'm going to complain about this today. I just kind of let it flow. I feel like the rain's getting worse. Don't worry, it won't be much longer with this. But yeah, given that I haven't recorded in a while, there was things that were coming to my brain, my mind, that I was like, I should talk about it on the podcast. So I actually have a list, you guys. I have notes of stuff that I want to talk about. So we're going to get to that in a second, but I just want to start by saying, whoever is in charge of the temperature of hot coffee at fast food chains, I have an idea for you. So if this isn't you, if you are not the owner of the thermometer at fast food chains for the coffee sales, maybe talk amongst yourselves. Like maybe, now's the time to go grab a snack, or like you're more than welcome to listen. That's kind of the point of this, but I'm really trying to reach a certain niche audience with this call to action public service announcement situation. But again, all are welcome. Is there an option to make it like just a little bit not scorching hot? Because I'm speaking for the people that don't put anything in their coffee. Like, I understand, like, if the coffee's really hot, but then you put, like, a creamer or... Okay, this can't be accurate, but I feel like for some reason sugar would cool down the temperature. I don't know why, but I think that's one of those things that on the Trivial Pursuit question, they would say, does sugar make your coffee not as hot? And then they want you to be dumb and say no, but it's actually yes. I don't know, just a theory. If anyone wants to, if any scienticians would like to reach out to me and let me know if that is in fact a thing. Maybe I've discovered the next frontier. Not so sure. The rain is getting bad, isn't it? Anyway, we're going to keep pushing through. Yeah, could we just make it like a little bit less? Or how about this? How about have an option where I could be like, hey, can I get like a splash of cold water? I guess I could just say that. Do you think they'll charge me for a splash of cold water? Just to cool it down, because I'm trying to drink my coffee. I'm running out of time. I got to go, be in business. Oh, speaking of me being in business, I have a story for you all. I'm just going to take a sip of my too hot coffee. Okay, so yesterday, I was in some sort of a professional environment, and I had shoes on, as you do in professional environments. That's the one rule I followed. You're supposed to wear shoes. And I get in the car, and I'm following all the steps. My hair looks, as nice as I could get it. I have a nice shirt on. I pulled out my nice shoes that I got from Winners for $30 like 3 years ago. For those of you who don't know what Winners is, it's like a Marshalls. If you don't know what Marshalls is, it's like a TJ Maxx. If you don't know what a TJ Maxx is, I don't know what to say. It's like you can find nice stuff there, but it's like, okay, so it's Value Village, but the stuff isn't used, but you get like similar-ish prices, kind of. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure wherever you're listening to this, there's like an equivalent. It's like nice stuff, but not like too nice, It's like kind of like the wish.com of nice stores is how I would describe that. But so I get in the car and I look down and I'm like, oh shoot, I broke a rule. I am going to professional jail. I have white, like, athletic socks on with my fancy dress shoes. Now, let me explain. The reason I did such was normally when I go to work, I wear not dress shoes, but like black shoes. And because I'm all about comfort, I just wear the white socks. No one can really see it anyway. So like if someone wanted to judge me, like go for it, Because they're not like dress shoes. They are more of like basically go to Costco, go to the shoe section, find the shoes that you think, oh my gosh, my grandma or grandpa would love these. They look so comfortable. That's the shoes I have. They're like the Skechers ones. Sponsor me. So yeah, I wear white socks with that, and I don't think that that's too weird. But I think because, again, I'm not usually a professional, I was just putting on the socks that I normally put on, not thinking that that looks terrible. So then I was in this situation where, because, again, I'm such a professional in other aspects, I was so early that I had about an hour to stew on what to do. I was Googling, I was on Reddit, I was on Quora, I think. What is that website called? Quora or something? One sec, we're going to find it. They send me emails like every 5 minutes. Of course, the one time I need it. We're going to get to them. I actually have some commentary on Quora, which is not how you say it. Okay, wait. Quora. Okay, we're gonna have to do some editing here. Not Quora Digest. Oh yeah. Okay, Quora. I don't know how I signed up for this newsletter, if it's even a newsletter. I think it's like a Reddit. It's like a forum where people ask questions, and I guess for whatever reason I made an account on it. Not too sure how or why, but like pretty much once a day they send me a list of posts that they think I would like, similar to like a Facebook or a Twitter. But because they're like basically a Yahoo Answers, the posts are like people asking questions that range from anywhere from, I think my teenage daughter is lying to me, I found such and such in her room, what should I do? Or something like, my physics teacher caught me cheating, but like winked at me, but then didn't really say anything, but then I got a terrible grade. Like it's like random, it's like very specific questions that like, I mean, I guess maybe someone would have some enlightenment on that. Or it's like, why did Queen Elizabeth allegedly, probably, definitely have Princess Diana killed? It's like stuff like that. It's like conspiracy lifestyle. It really is basically this podcast, like a random assortment of topics thrown into one website. And for whatever reason, that website sends me a newsletter every day. And I actually, at first it was annoying. I think I'm starting to like it because it's just like a burst of nothingness and joy. Because I did a spree the other day. I promise I'll get back to the socks. Don't worry, you'll hear the end of that story. But I did an unsubscriptionizing spree where I went through all of my email subscriptions and was like, unsubscribe. And then you like have to go to a website where you unsubscribe. And then they send you an email to confirm that you've unsubscribed. And I'm like, no. Stop with the emails. No more emails. The point of pressing that button is that you didn't send me another email, not to get another email. But whatever. And for whatever reason, I did not unsubscribe to the Quora. Again, not sure. I don't know if it's like Sleeping Beauty, Aurora with a Q, or like Questura, or Your Aura. not sure if anyone, the makers of that website, would like to reach out and really like defend yourself. I'm all ears. But yeah, I didn't unsubscribe to it, and I think it was because deep down I know that I enjoy reading those. So I actually would recommend signing up for that. Again, I can't tell you how to sign up for that newsletter, if it even is such, because I don't know how I did it in the first place, but I'm sure there's a way. But anyway, regardless, back to my socks. I basically had to decide. I had two real options here, right? I either walk in to this establishment with white socks, and not just white socks, like athletic socks, like clearly like the socks you have at the bottom of your gym bag type of socks, like full Costco, you get like 48 in a pack for $5 socks. I don't want, maybe they were like a Nike or like I think it was even worse. I think it was like Walmart brand. There were like visible holes at the bottom. So I was like, not the best look. So I was like, okay, I could do one of two things. I could take off my socks entirely, because here's the thing. I think from what I know, I'm not a, what is that word? Fashion editorialer, or like, I'm not in that industry. I have no idea. Like, I wear sweatpants. I wear the same sweatpants every day. Again, very professional sweatpants, but sweatpants nonetheless. And I think wearing no socks is something people do in like with a fancy outfit, but I believe it's not the type of shoe that I was wearing. That is for that look. So I even Googled it. I'm like, is it weird to wear no socks with dress shoes? And there are a certain type of dress shoes. Unfortunately, the ones that I got from Winners for $30 a couple years ago did not fall under that category. So I was like, I don't want to look like, I feel like that looks worse having no socks. But then I was like, maybe I could come up with like a story about like, oh, I stepped in a puddle. But then I looked outside and like it wasn't really raining. So it's like, what puddle was I stepping in? So then I was like, well, maybe I just take them off and like, maybe they'll just assume that I stepped in some sort of puddle, or there was like some sort of malfunction where I obviously had the correct socks on and they were ripped from me. Maybe I donated them, en route to a good cause, maybe like leave them mysterious. So I was like, okay, that's option one. Option two is just say screw it and walk in with the socks. Now, fortunately, do you know how when you're like sitting in the driver's seat, like when I realized this, I was in my car, like in the driver's seat. Do you know how like the angle, like where your chair is, and obviously like how you position your foot to hit the pedal? Your socks show more than they do when you're just regularly standing. So I got out of the car in the hour time that I had to figure this all out, after I had, gone on Yahoo Answers, gone on Quora, had, really, they weren't helping me much, to be honest. No offense. I'm sure they mean well, but I kind of stood up and thankfully my pants were lower than I had initially thought. So I don't really think you could see my socks, but the way I remedied it was I made my socks like shorter so that like they didn't really stick out. But like if you really looked to see like, is he wearing socks? Which I can't imagine anyone did or would. This is kind of one of those things where you think people care more about you than they do type thing. Like everyone's all worried about, oh, how does this look? How does that look? Because other people are going to notice and see, when really everybody's too busy worrying about how they look themselves that they're not really looking at you. Like everyone's like, oh, how does my hair look? People are going to care. But no one actually cares about you because they're worried about how their own hair looks. So if anyone wants to take anything away from this episode, I would say, respectfully, nobody cares. Everyone's too worried caring about themselves, which is a little bit sad, but I would say has its benefits, in my opinion, therefore. But anyway, yeah, that's what I ended up doing. I like took my foot out of my shoe and I like pulled my socks up so that, it was more of like an ankle sock, fashion editorializer. And then I like pulled the top of it that was kind of up above my toes because I had pulled it. Like I basically made my socks look like they were too big for me and then pulled the top part of the sock underneath my foot and then slid it into my shoe. Now it was extremely uncomfortable. but I think it did the trick. Yeah, so if anyone's in that situation, please go for it. Take my tips. Hopefully this helps. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but I am no longer in the car with the rain. This is probably a solid 24 hours after the fact, which means I started recording this episode more than 12 hours before I had to post it. It's pretty good. Not to brag, I'm doing a lot of bragging this episode. Let's get back to our regularly complaining scheduled programming. So I have a few things. One of the grossest things that I think I've ever seen is a trend. Now, usually, I love gross. I love disgusting. I would say it's my brand. I feel like over the past few years, it's become more acceptable to talk about just your overall like gut health, your bowel movements. And I don't think that was because of the Gupdate segment, but I do think it was because of the work that I had put in before I started this podcast. I've been talking about diarrhea for centuries now, and I think a lot of the time I would get, ew, that's gross. But over the past few years, I'm getting a lot less of a negative reaction and it's becoming more of a dialogue as opposed to a monologue, which I think is a beautiful thing. Because as I always say, there's only so much everyone in the world can relate on, and that is 100% something that everyone can relate on. Everyone goes to the bathroom in some form. There are different conditions and stuff that affect, what way, but in some form we all put stuff in and we all got to get it out. So I'm just saying, let's not completely write it off, and I don't think we are anymore. But this is one of those rare instances where something that I find gross is I'm assuming based on how popular it is, something that people don't find gross. And no, I am not talking about the Dr. Pimple Popple show on TLC. I don't have that chip. I've also a chip in my brain. I've also talked about, sorry, not to be confused with Queen Chip the Third. I don't have that section in my brain that goes, ooh, I want to see a pimple popping video. I also, we've talked about this before, don't have the ASMR brain chip. That does nothing for me. But again, live your lives. I'm not judging. But what I especially don't have an affection for are butter boards. Now, I don't know if anyone knows what this is, but I'm the last person to know stuff that's popular on the internet. Maybe not the last, but maybe for my age range, probably one of the last people, because I really don't have the TikToks. I'll swipe through a reel every once in a while, and I quite enjoy those, and I'm sure it's all the same stuff from the TikToks, but anyway, I've been seeing a lot of butter boards. Now, what a butter board is you basically get a cutting board or some sort of accouterie, charcuterie or something, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. And you spread some sort of a liquid base, or not liquid, but like a spread. I've seen a lot of just plain old butter, whipped butter. If you want to be a little bit less classy with it, you just get a base cell, the margarine, or peanut butter. I saw one with mayo, and then you basically make a cheese board, but not necessarily just cheese. You pair it with stuff that would dip well into whatever base you put on the board. So if you put peanut butter all over the board, you would just dip, you would just put apples or fruit or crackers around it. So it almost looks like a lake. When you look at a map and there's the blue part, that's the water, and then the green or whatever color it is the land or whatever. Basically on the land part of the map, you put stuff to dip into the blue part, which would be the butter. And I don't know whose idea this was. And I mean, we still kind of are coming off of a pandemic, so it's a little bit concerning that this has become popular now. But it's just, again, I don't want to, I'm not here to judge. Well, I'm here to judge, but in a positive way, I'm not here to critique. I'm here to critique. Yeah, not judge. We're going to critique. And my critique of this would be, it's a little bit gross. It seems like you're encouraging double dipping in some form. Also, you don't know where people's hands have been, if they're touching the thing that you're dipping it in, and then Or ooh, what if they like go to grab a piece of apple and they're like, ooh, wait, there's saltines on here, and then they go to the saltines and then dip. Or like even people spit, like when people talk and they're like, pss, 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 pss. Yeah, see, I can see the bubbles on my phone screen. It's not good. I guess it's not any grosser than a regular communal food board, but just for some reason, just like putting the dip, like just like layering it on the board seems weird. But again, I love not again, I've never said this before, but it's a fact to me. I love like a bowl of ranch with like some chips around it. So maybe it's actually not that gross. I don't know. It just seems wrong. I think the grossness stemmed from the fact that I saw one with mayo and like not aioli, like full like mayo. And you're just supposed to like dip stuff in mayo. So I don't know about that, but yeah, okay, you know what? I'm open to hearing arguments as to why they're good, okay? I feel like we've accomplished something here. Also, okay, next thing I want to complain about. So maybe I don't think we'll end up at a similar place as we did with the butter boards, where I realized, maybe let the good times roll on that. There's an issue, and I'm going to be honest, I'm nervous to say this because I'm scared that I'm going to, poke a corporate bear. But we're going to go for it because, again, we are protected, and by we I mean me, the safety of, like, at max 2 listeners. At max. Maybe 3. Which is like, I guess I'm incorrectly using the definition of max. Whenever I said max in that last sentence, I'm saying average. Replace that with average. On average, 2 listeners. Average. But I was at my favorite, not my favorite. I was at a well-established establishment. I went into the drive-thru because who wants to park and get out of your car and, open a door, stand in a lineup? Like, it really is quite, it's quite a lot of steps. So I just went to the drive-thru and I saw that there was a new menu item. Now, not necessarily new, more so a new concoction that they were promoting. Now, I don't know if I ever mentioned this on the podcast, but for years, and by years I mean at least 6 months, I have been at McDonald's ordering, for sure years, like since high school. Every once in a while, if I'm feeling blue, okay, maybe not high school, college, okay, at least 4 years, I'll get at my favorite establishment, which we can figure it out, starts with an M. It sounds a little bit Irish. Okay, Dawn. I think we're on the same page here. I've been ordering a caramel sundae, and never, I love a caramel sundae, but sometimes you need a little bit something extra in your caramel sundae. So I'll get an apple pie. You break up the apple pie, you put it in the caramel sundae. The ratio is for sure off. It's like eating a regular Reese's Pieces versus a mini Reese's Pieces. Like, there's too much of one ingredient. Like, it's not equivalent to how, you would get a slice of pie at Thanksgiving and then put like the ice cream on top. It's actually quite the opposite. You're getting more ice cream than you are pie per bite, technically. But yeah, I would break up the apple pie into my caramel sundae. And now I go into the drive-thru the other day and they're advertising that. And I think this was a big moment for me to psychologically analyze myself, because it's like, why does that anger me? I'm usually like pretty carefree, don't care about much. I think I like to think I know, when something's worth fighting for. And on paper, this isn't really worth it because, am I the first person on planet Earth to have this idea? No. Did I come to that idea organically? Yes. Have I been, spreading the word, or at least trying to spread the word around about this mixing of the two? Yes. But to see that now they are advertising it as such, I feel as though my genius is being not acknowledged by the McDonald's Corporation. By the insert establishment name here, corporation. You know what I mean? And I feel like now every time I say it, people are going to be like, oh yeah, you saw the sign. Like, no, I thought of it. I am the sign. But maybe I'm not. Or there is a reality where I've said this on the podcast before, the mixing of the caramel and the apple pie. Now, see, if we were a podcast that had listeners, I would maybe be able to do some sort of like a fan poll or reach out and see, hey, does anyone remember me saying this? Again, it's just me. I'm really, as much as it sounds like I might be the personality type to do this, I'm not going to sit through and listen to all 25 of my own podcasts, or 24, whatever the number we established was at the beginning. I'm not going to sit through and listen to them all. So we'll never know, but I might get my legal team on the case one of these days. Once I get a legal team, they're on it. McDonald's, we're coming for you. Also, when I eventually do sue, I don't necessarily want, what's the term? I took a criminology course, nominal damages. I believe that is when someone pays you, like when you sue and then they pay you money. I don't necessarily want that. I'm actually going to take a page out of the book of one of my heroes. This is an unnamed hero. I actually don't know their name. I don't know their face, which is I think quite telling of this person, because I only know them from their activism work, which was the person. I don't know anything more than that. The person who sued Chipotle for E. coli, but didn't want money from the corporation. They just wanted a free Chipotle for life card. See, that's how you do it. Now, I also took a couple psychology classes, and I know very well about like conditioning, and I think a lot of the times this happens where, you have something, it's bad, E. coli, Chipotle in this case, you yarf it up, you have a gut date, which I've never really thought of a gut date as a thing that like puke could count, but it really could. I only think of it as south, but it could be a northern activity as well. But anyway, we won't get into that. We did enough update in the last couple episodes. But again, you eat something bad, you puke it up. Sometimes your mind, I can't exactly remember the patterns, but your mind connects the puke with that food. So then even if you eat that food without the E. coli, so like you get like a burrito bowl with shredded chicken, mild salsa, maybe some lettuce, the fajita vegetables, pinto beans, and brown rice with some hot sauce, and of course the extra guacamole, even though we know it's like an extra $3. You order all that. Even if there's not E. coli in there, notice how I didn't order E. coli in that lineup, you would still eat it and then remember the puke and like kind of be turned off of it. This happened to me with, in grade 2, I ate, do you know those, they're, I think a bit harder to find now, but they were really popular at the time. They're those little snack packs of like crackers and then tuna. And you would get like a can of tuna, a little packet of mayo, and then a napkin, a pack of crackers, and then like a little, it was like a stick really, but I guess it was supposed to be a spoon. You would mix in the mayo and the tuna. I ate those, and then for whatever reason, yarfed it back up. I couldn't touch those. Again, actually, even thinking about it now, it doesn't sound as good. I think the feeling has expired a little bit. Like it's not like actual yarf when I think about it. Like I can eat a tuna sandwich now, but just something about the mixing of the tuna and those crackers. Anyway, I mean, I'm not surprised. There was something funny going on there. I don't know that tuna had been a fish with gills for a few years, if you know what I'm saying. But regardless, my hero, one of my personal heroes, is the person who sued Chipotle after being wronged by Chipotle and getting E. coli poisoning. They just wanted free Chipotle for life. So to take it all the way back to what I was talking about 800 years ago when I started the story, I would ask McDonald's, instead of, the monetary compensation. I mean, I'll accept the monetary compensation, of course, like in the future. But for the lawsuit in particular, because they stole my idea of the caramel apple and the apple pie combination mixer thing, I would love to ask for, just some sort of free something. If it's free McDonald's for life, I'll take it. If it's like a Happy Meal every day, if it's like when I order one Happy Meal, I get all of the toys, so I don't have to choose, I'll take that. If you want to bring back your animal crackers, I'll take that. I'll use that as my one wish. for the good of the community. If you want to like cater like any birthday parties I might have, actually that's probably the way to go for you specifically, because and by you I mean McDonald's Corporation, because I mean, let's be honest, my birthday parties, it's not a very long guest list. Like you probably would only have to make like enough chicken nuggets for me, my family, and then maybe like one or two other people that I could convince to come. But yeah. So basically, the long and short of it is, I was the first person to think of combining the caramel apple and the apple pie. If anyone tells you otherwise, they're lying. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to call the people around you liars, but they're really doing it themselves, you know? Yeah. Well, that time has come. Our session has ended, essentially. But again, I'm going to do the spiel. I'm going to do roll the credits, let them roll. I thank you for listening. As always, we can be found at, I have the correct website this time, podcastnobodyaskforthis.podbean.com. On there, you can see links to all of our social medias, our Instagram. Again, it's just me, our Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. What else do we have going? Yeah, so on the website, you can see everywhere you can find us: Spotify, Apple Music, something else. Oh yeah, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, all of the ones. Amazon, tell your Alexa to play the Nobody Asked For This podcast. Again, she'll probably have to go through about 17 of them to get to the one that, to get to me, to get to hear my annoying voice, but I'm sure you'll get there eventually. And yeah, I hope you all have a great week. I hope you have a holiday drink from Starbucks. I hope you watch a terrible Christmas movie. I hope you get your Christmas trees up, okay? Decorate. Maybe do like a somersault. Actually, that sounds like obviously more of a summer activity. Maybe a cartwheel. Or like, go to like a Christmas tree farm. Even if you're not in the space to get an actual Christmas tree, or like, time, space, there are reasons. Just go to the farm and just take some pictures, maybe look at the lights, put up your Christmas lights, or go to like a Target or Walmart and just get like a mini Christmas tree. That's what I have in my room, which is like a little one. It really helps with the ambiance or whatever it's called. Because listen, the problem with the holiday season is it comes and goes. Like, it's here, or you're in a constant state of, like, is it too early? Like, is it too early to start listening to Christmas music? Is it too early to start watching those terrible movies where the girl from the big city comes back to her hometown and then meets the person she liked in high school, and now they're together, and then the idiot boyfriend from France, like, comes back, and you're like, oh my gosh. No offense to France. I don't know why that was the first place I thought of, but, like, watch one of those movies, okay? Some apple cider, gingerbread. They have gingerbread Pop-Tarts, okay? I'd recommend that. We will see you next week. It might be December next week. What day is it? Today is the 25th? Yeah, oh my gosh, how exciting. Okay, so peek behind the curtain. When you hear the next episode, it will be December, but I will have recorded it in November. Unless I'm late, which I'm usually pretty good. So I'm going to stop talking now. Have a great week. See you next week. Bye.